Hi, thanks for checking out our channel. If this is the first time you've ever been to our channel and seen one of our videos, we appreciate you for checking it out. We are a repair place that works on electric fence boxes of all makes and models of all ages, old style from 50, 60 years ago to new ones today. We work on a lot of different brands. I mean, there's a bunch of them out there, so we see the good and the bad and the ugly of all the different brands that are out there. I've got a couple links in the description area down below if you want to check us out on our websites. Our websites, we got two of them. The one for electric fencer repair and fence charger repair and stuff is fencerfixer.com. And there's a link down in the description that take you to our website. We also work on the cattle scales and load bars for weighing livestock and stuff. It's cattlescalerepair.com. But what I want to do in this video is I want to do like a little review of this particular model and brand in general. So if you're ever wondering what's good and bad out there, you know maybe what to put your money toward versus wasting your money on something that's not very good. So that's what we're going to talk to. So before we get too much further, if you'd like to subscribe to the channel or hit that like button down, a little thumbs up deal down there, we'd be appreciative of that. If you're ever looking at a particular unit and you want to know, hey, is this unit any good? Is this unit is it not worth the darn? Shoot me a text, call me, email me, whatever you want to do. We'll give you the truth on what's good and bad out there. That way you know you're not wasting your money on a piece of junk that's cheap and everything. Because there are some cheap ones or cheaper ones that aren't too bad. And there's some expensive ones that are kind of overpriced, and then there's some in the middle, and there's some cheap ones that are just garbage, and some medium price ones that are garbage as well. So we'll tell you what's good and bad that's out there. So that way you know whatever money you're wanting to spend on something, you're not going to waste. If you spend a little bit more, maybe get a little bit better unit. So, but anyways, let's talk about this unit here. This is a this model is a PW18000. This is made by Power Wizard. This is made here in the States. It's an 18 output joule unit, so it covers a pretty good, has a pretty good shot coming out of it. This mileage and acreage rating right here is kind of a perfect world rating. This is of a single strand of fence that's perfectly clean. So that's when you see this mileage stuff like that, that's kind of a got to be a little leery of it. A lot of brands rate their things in mileage, and that's always on a clean single wire fence. You start having multiple wires on there and start adding some grass to it. You just basically cut that down by a third or half, however, depending on how many wires you got. That'll tell you what this thing's actually rated for on a typical fence that's multi-wire. But overall, Power Wizard is a pretty decent brand. Their units aren't terribly expensive compared to some of the other brands out there. This unit's probably $300, give or take, $50. I'm not sure what these things sell for exactly, but it's 18 joules, so you know, packs a hell of a punch. But I think the pros of this is you get a lot of power for not a super amount of money. And it's a pretty compact unit. You know, it's about, I don't know, 10 inches wide or so. It mounts on the wall. You got a couple little, you can adjust these. You can loosen these screws up there to adjust the height of these little metal things. When you get to the height you want, you can tighten it back down. You can hang it from the wall there. These units should be installed indoors. There's no gasket on these things. I'll take it apart and show you the inside. So give me a second to get the screws out of it. All right, got the screws out of it. But there are no gaskets in this at all. So if you're gonna, this goes for most AC powered units, they don't have any gaskets in them. And you see, this is just kind of a little lip there. It goes inside this little trough all the way around the case. So it kind of acts like a little bit of a shield. So this is an overlapping case of about, I don't know, 1/4 inch, 1/8 of an inch, not very long. But that's the inside of this particular one. It's got a 2 circuit boards in it, capacitor transformer. This little board here is it's got some lightning protection stuff built onto it, so it's to help out if you get lightning strikes on your fence and ground side down here. Then I got pretty good knobs that are easy to tighten down by hand. You don't need to use a pair of pliers, don't just hand tighten them. They use pretty good capacitors. These blue ones hardly ever go bad. A lot of brands that are decent use this brand of capacitor. Power Wizard does not make their own capacitors. These are made by a place in China called HK Film Capacitor. Gallagher uses them. Speedrite uses them. Cyclops uses them. Stay Fix, which is part of Speedrite and True Test. Power Wizard uses them. I have different lengths and sizes, but they all get them from this one place because they're about the only place that makes the pulse grade electric fence capacitor. They make some other stuff too, but they're about the main big company out there that makes these good ones. Parmac and Zariba use other type of capacitor, but they basically do the same type of thing. But capacitors are fairly rare to go bad in these, especially these blue ones, the older white ones and older big metal looking things with the wrap on them. Those were older versions. Those will go bad from age, but transformers are pretty reliable. They don't hardly ever go bad unless lightning gets them, but this board usually takes the blunt of it or the board goes bad. But all this stuff can be replaced and repaired and stuff like that. So it's got one little light here in the front that flashes with every pulse. This is kind of just a power light, tell you the power's on. It has nothing to do with the output. So this, you could dead short this thing out and the light will still flash. So we'll power it up here. See it in there flashing. And we'll take the terminals off here. But it's a good unit. I mean, these aren't bad units. So if you're thinking about buying one, the Power Wizard brand, Dare is another brand that's made by the Power Wizard people. It's made by a place called Agratronix. They make the Dare stuff, and they make a handful of units for Kencove. So if you see a Kencove like KF 6000 or whatever, looks basically just like this, with a red case and the same little lens on there. It's made by the same people that make this one. So they're not bad units. They're pretty good for the money. So I'll put a fence tester across there. Some stuff off that bench so I can get up there and see it. Getting 6.2 kV out of it, which is normal. Most brands float between 5 and 9,000 volts. The voltage isn't super critical. You want at least 3,000 to 4,000 volts minimum on your fence. I mean, 6,000 volts at 18 joules, so it's going to hit hard and heavy. So we'll take a screwdriver and we'll go across the terminals. I'll show you the shock it puts out. Get another screwdriver here. So it does a pretty healthy spark. So these are good units. So if you got one of these that's broken, you want fixed, we can fix them for you. If you're thinking about buying one, we don't sell anything. We're just a repair shop. But these aren't not a bad brand to look into if you were thinking about buying one. These are probably what I would say the upper tier of the cheaper price units that are out there, because you get a lot of power for the money. Like I said, they're about $300 and some odd dollars, give or take, for 18 joules of shock power. So you get quite a bit of shock for the money compared to other ones, but they aren't the greatest out there. But there's worse ones. There's the Zariba crap. You could buy one of their units for about the same or for a little bit less money, but you'll get a lot longer life out of one of these units than you would a Zariba or Blitzer, American Farmers, what do you want to call them. But these are not a bad brand at all. So like I said, we just work on stuff. We don't sell anything. We're just a repair shop that works on these fence boxes for people. We get units from all over the United States sent to us in the mail and UPS and FedEx and stuff. We got a few people that drive up and drop things off, but most people just ship them to us. So hopefully you liked the video, and remember to subscribe to the channel if you'd like. And if you got a unit that needs worked on, we'll work on them for you. But if you're thinking about buying one and like wondering what's good or bad that's out there, you can look at the Power Wizard brand and see if it's any in the price range of what you want to buy. They do make smaller ones. This happens to be the 18 joule, but they make they make 3 or 4 smaller ones than that. They also make solar and battery powered ones. This is the AC 110 volt unit, but this is one that we got in for repair from a customer. I figured I'd do a little review video on there and tell people about them and see what people think and everything. But until we do another video of how one works or how to repair one, or another review video, we will see you guys later on.